right.
Hi guys.
Hey mountain friends. Welcome to Mountain Cooking with Missy. Today, Kenzie's actually going to be doing the cooking. She's going to make a what?
A no-bake caramel apple brownie bottom cheesecake.
It's got a big title.
It's a lot, but it's not as hard as it sounds, and it's really, really good.
Yeah,
it's a big
really
hit around the holidays, always.
Yeah, and it's part of the 12 cakes of Christmas, so this would be perfect for holidays coming, for Christmas coming up, or even Thanksgiving. And she's going to just show y'all how to make it step by step, so you can make it too. And if you just need a little something different, this is one of those. But look how pretty it is, y'all. Ain't it just beautiful? It's got some caramel apples on top.
So the bottom is an apple cinnamon blondie, and then you got the cheesecake, and then the homemade cinnamon whipped cream, and then the candied kind of apple, not candied.
Well, they're cooked
caramelized apples, and then
apples.
caramel drizzle on top.
Yeah.
So can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong.
And y'all, she made this, and she made this for somebody. They requested her to make it for them for their holiday table, because she made this at church for our fall party, and they loved it so good, so they requested her to make them one. So
we can't cut into it.
Yeah, can't cut into it.
But just trust us that it's amazing. Yeah,
take our word for it.
Like, there was literally none left. We didn't even get to try it. We got
it's so good.
One bite.
Yeah,
but it was really
I did.
good.
I just got like a
the one bite we had was really good.
Yeah, one bite I had was really good. Yeah, but this is going to be good. So y'all be ready for Mountain Cooking with Kenzie today. Yeah. All right,
Missy Jr.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's a little chip off the old block. So I raised her right, y'all. She got a good raising. All right, so let's get started.
Hi guys, today it's Mountain Cooking with Kenzie, and we're making a no-bake caramel cheesecake. The cheesecake is no-bake, but the bottom is. So we're gonna get started on the crust first, and it is a blondie apple bottom. So it's super, super good. So you need 1.5 sticks of butter, and then you got 1.5 cups of brown sugar, and you're just gonna whisk those together until they're nice and creamed, and then we're gonna add the rest. So we got that going there.
Smells good.
So I have 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And then this part is really important. You got 1 egg white and then 1 full large egg.
So it's 1 egg white and 1 full large egg.
Let that get all good and combined, and scrape your sides periodically. Alright, so that's what it should look like when it's all good and combined. Then we're going to go ahead and add 1.5 cups of flour, not all at the same time. And then you can just go ahead. I have 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and then 1 teaspoon of apple pie spice.
Apple pie spice.
Yes. And also the oven is preheating at 350.
Okay. So you mix this in just a little at a time.
Smells so good, y'all. This is a hit. I made it for our church's fall harvest, and I got 3rd place. It was rigged. No, I was kidding. But it was good. It was a hit. It was all gone.
She's going to finish mixing that up.
And then when we're done, we're going to add the chopped apples. All right, so once you get it all mixed in, it will look kind of dry, kind of crumbly-ish, but it's all right. You're adding the apples. They got quite a bit of moisture, and then you're just going to press it down in the bottom of your pan anyway.
What size springform pan this is?
So the original recipe said a 9-inch. Mine, I think, is a 10-inch, and it worked out just fine. So I just sprayed it. It's a springform. I just sprayed it ahead of time, and then cut up some parchment paper, and then sprayed the top of that as well. And then you're gonna scrape your sides, and then you're gonna add in your apples. So I just have about half, 3/4 cup of a Granny Smith apple here. I just chopped it up,
So that's half of a large Granny Smith apple.
Yeah,
chopped.
3/4 cups. Yeah.
So about 3/4 cup of chopped, unpeeled apples.
They're better if they're unpeeled in the bottom of it. That way they're kind of crunchy and they're not like soggy. And then you're just gonna mix
Fold
them
that
all
in.
together. So now I just put my batter in the bottom of my pan and I sprayed clean hands. I'm gonna spray them again real fast.
Spray your hands with some non-stick spray and it makes it easier to press down in there.
It's such a sticky, like goopy batter, it's hard to do with the spoon.
So you're going to spread that out all the way to the edges.
Make sure it's even and then bring it up on the edge a little bit. That way you have a nice crust on your cheesecake.
Yeah. So this is going to go in the oven, preheated to 350 for about how long?
Like 15-ish minutes maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Just keep an eye on it until it gets nice and cooked.
It'll get brown and kind of golden, so maybe 15, 20 minutes. You don't want to overbake it. So.
Definitely not, yeah. So we just got the crust out of the oven, and this is what it should look like. When it's done, it'll get nice and brown. And I just stuck a knife down in there and it came out clean, so that's how you know you're all good. So let this cool completely before you add your cream cheese mixture on it. I'm gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes, then take it out of the springform pan.
Okay, and you pressed it down a little bit with your spatula.
Yeah. Just
okay.
Get the air out of it a little.
All right, so let it cool completely.
So here I have 2 softened 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. And I'm just gonna whip these together really fast until they're nice and whipped. And then we're gonna add in our other ingredients. So now that my cream cheese is all whipped together, I'm just scraping down my sides. And I'm gonna add about half a teaspoon of the apple pie spice. Stuck. And then I have half a cup of regular sugar and half a cup of brown sugar here, and I just mix them together. So I'm just gonna add not hardly all of it, and just mix that together, then add the rest. So I'm just gonna scrape down my sides and add the rest of the sugar. And then now is the most important part in the whole cheesecake. Can't have a caramel cheesecake without caramel. Yeah. So I'm adding half a cup of caramel in here, and you can make your own. I'm just using the kind that you microwave. That way it'll set up and help the cheesecake set up once you put it in the fridge.
Where's your jar? We'll get the jar.
I'll show them at the end because I got to use it again.
Yeah. So this is jarred caramel that she's using. You don't have to make your own if you don't want to.
I actually recommend not. It's just easier.
The jarred Smucker's is the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're just going to go mix it all together.
Mix it up.
So now I'm just going to mix it up and get it all nice and good. And then we're going to add the next part, which is just a homemade whipped cream. And
here is the caramel we used. Smucker's hot caramel topping.
So good, guys. So good.
It's really good. So if you're not going to make your own, we recommend that. So that's what we did. So there it is.
That's what it should look like. It's got a really pretty color.
Yummy.
But it'll lighten up when you add the whipped cream. Okay, so now I am adding my homemade whipped cream mixture into my cheesecake batter. If you don't want to make your own, just add
yeah, if you don't want to make your own whipped cream like she did, just a regular 8-ounce container of Cool Whip will work too.
But that's
you
what
want to fold that in.
Be very careful not to flatten your whipped cream and get all the air out of it. So just fold that in.
It'll be good.
This is what makes it so decadent.
Yeah.
That and the caramel.
And you have to make sure you make this like the night before.
Yeah, it needs to sit in the fridge. Honestly, it does better if you put it in the freezer overnight and then the fridge about an hour, 2 hours before serving.
Yeah. It's really good. And that's going to go on to the crust, just when it cools completely.
While the crust is cooling, finishing cooling, I'm just gonna throw this in the fridge and just let it chill in there. So this is what the cheesecake looks like. It's just been in the fridge for a few minutes, and this is the crust, finally all chilled. So I'm just gonna throw it on there.
So she put the crust, this is the springform pan, and now she's gonna put the filling in there, and it's gonna be topped with some additional whipped cream.
Okay, so now I just have my cheesecake mixture on top of the brownie mixture and brownie crust.
The brownie crust, yeah.
So I'm just gonna pop it in the fridge while we make the homemade whipped cream for the top.
Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna get started on the glazed apples. That's right, for the top. I just have an apple and a half peeled and thinly sliced. The thinner, the better.
Yeah.
But I have a few. Oh, that's two. Okay. So just the thinner, the better. And then I have a tablespoon of butter in there as well.
That is a Granny Smith.
Yeah. I've used it with they're like the red ones.
Oh,
not
Macintosh? Or?
Yeah, they were Macintosh, and they turned out great. But personally, Granny Smith just do better. Then I'm adding 4 tablespoons of brown sugar, and then a teaspoon of apple pie spice. This is a quarter of a teaspoon.
So you need 4
So
of
I'm gonna
those.
add 4 of these. It's not 4,
So you're basically just gonna cook these apples.
how you would like breakfast apples.
Yeah, until the juice is going to come out of them. There's butter in there.
And then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice.
Yeah, lemon juice. And you're going to cook them down until the syrup starts to thicken a little bit and the apples are tender. But they won't be mushy.
This part, do not skip.
Yeah, don't skip.
It makes it so good.
This is going to go on the top of the cheesecake to finish it off.
I wish y'all could smell.
I
Do you
know.
smell that?
Oh no, it
They
smells
smell
so good.
so good. And they're so pretty. They just give it like a really good fall, Thanksgiving looking vibe overall. But yeah, it's a great Thanksgiving cheesecake.
Yeah, it is a really good Thanksgiving cheesecake. Or Christmas too. Don't really matter. So you're going to, this probably is going to take about at least 6-8 minutes maybe for your apples to cook to where you want them
I think it takes exactly like 7.
Yeah. We'll come back and show you the finished. You want to do about a medium heat because you don't want them to scorch. Look at that.
So this is what they look like when they're done.
Show the syrup. See,
I like to leave like quite a bit of syrup in mine just because it makes it
and
the best.
When they cool down, they'll still be. They won't be like
super runny.
Yeah.
But how I tested to make sure they were done, I found the thickest one in there and I just put my spoon in it, and if it was tender, they're all good.
All right, these have to cool off completely.
Yes, they need to be completely cool before you put it on your cheesecake. Like completely cool.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So now that the apples are cool, I'm just gonna spoon them into the middle. And they settled up really nice. They're not like goopy or anything.
Yum. So if she put some additional whipped cream on top, she made, you can always do Cool Whip. Just know in this recipe you can substitute the whipped cream for Cool Whip.
Or you don't have to do it at all.
Yeah.
But
you can just do the whole top and the apples if you want to.
There we go.
Yum. So it goes in the freezer, right?
Yes. So just put it in the freezer, and then before you get ready to serve, about 2 hours before, just go ahead and put it in the fridge, and then top it with caramel before you get ready to cut into it.
The caramel, you would just use what's left in the caramel in the jar and just pour that over it. Would you heat that caramel up?
I would heat it up a little, but don't get it too hot, especially if you have whipped cream on it.
And just drizzle it on right before you serve it.
So there you guys go.
Ooh, goodness, that looks great. A caramel apple cheesecake.
Cheesecake is no bake, just the bottom.
Yeah. Looks good.
It's actually really easy too.
Yeah, it is
Simple
very
recipe.
yummy.